So think of this recipe as like a love child between baked oatmeal and some type of blueberry breakfast cake. It's kind of cakey, whereas baked oatmeal might be kind of like, I don't know, more moist, like actual oatmeal, but baked. But this is kind of like that. It's like a baby between the two things. Okay, so let's make it. This is the easiest recipe you will ever make as far as like protein dessert recipes goes. It only has a few ingredients. It's got oats, we've got our blueberries, we've got protein powder, we've got Splenda, and we have baking soda, salt, and cinnamon in this little bowl here. And I will tell you the exact amounts as we go along. So what you want to start doing is pour your oats and your water into the same bowl to let them get soaking and soften up. This was 2 cups of water and this was 3 cups of oats. So this is kind of a bigger recipe than I'm used to making because I'm generally only baking for me and Chris, or Chris and I don't know. So I'm getting the oats soaking in the water now, and then they'll soften as we continue cooking it. When you're making a recipe with oats, like if you don't have enough water or enough moist products in there to like soften the oats, you may end up with an upset stomach because when oats are not baked or cooked completely through, it's irritating on the gut. So we've got our oats and our water. Now it's time to add the protein powder, and this is 1.5 cups of Metabolic Drive Protein powder, which is approximately 4.5 scoops. You don't have to be super anal about it. So just about 4.5 scoops, or if you want to just go ahead and use your measuring cup, you can do 1.5 cups. This is a cup of Splenda, and if you like your stuff a little less sweet, you don't have to use the full cup. I kind of like it sweet because to me it's supposed to taste like a cake. So I like to go ahead and stir my ingredients together as I go, but you know, do whatever you like, because this is really a no-fail recipe. Like, you can screw it up, you can add a lot less sweetener, you can actually forget the Splenda and it'll still turn out pretty good. I mean, it'll be less cakey and more bready, but it'll still have protein in it, it'll still have blueberries in it, so it'll be delicious. But I kind of like cakey things, cakey breakfasty things. That's kind of my thing. So we've got it all mixed up. I kind of like to use frozen fruit because blueberries tend to stain, like the color turns everything blue. So if you use fresh blueberries, your blueberry oat cake is gonna be like purplish blue, which is pretty, it's fine. But we kind of buy frozen fruit year round. So that's why we put a lot of frozen, well, you know what, look it turned blue anyway. So I take it back, use whatever you want. You can use fresh or frozen blueberries, and actually any berry you like. This is awesome with strawberries, it's awesome with raspberries. Again, this is a foolproof recipe, so you can put any berry in there that you like. You could even do mixed berries. And I don't even know why I'm telling you this recipe, because basically you could use double the berries and it would just be more delicious. So whatever you want to do, however many berries, I don't even measure them out, to be honest. So 1 cup is what I'm using here, but whatever you want. So as far as the leavening agents, and you do need them, otherwise it turns into a brick, you want to use 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. If you use a little bit more than that, it turns out just fine. I used also 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And again, you can kind of improvise on this. I have done this whole recipe just basically shaking stuff in as I felt like it. And as long as the basic, you know, the water and the oats and the protein powder are covered, those are your 3 main ingredients. As long as those are kind of more exact, everything else can be improvised. So you want to do, again, the cup and a half of Metabolic Drive, the 3 cups of oats, and then the, how much? 2 cups of water. Those are the things you don't really want to improvise on, because I made those mistakes already for you. I made the terrible mistakes for you. So don't make the mistakes that I have made with really, really dry stuff or really, really soggy stuff. This is what we have so far. And what I'm gonna do is pour this into my sprayed cake pan. I've already sprayed this with my favorite spray. I just use avocado oil. But that's the thing though, is that like for this, it still sticks in the pan if all you use is just straight up oil. I don't really like the baking spray, you know, that popular stuff that has ingredients that we don't really know about in there. So what I do is I just spray it with my favorite oil, and then I take like a 1/4 of a scoop of protein powder, and I just kind of lightly dust the pan. Is this a pan? This is like a Pyrex cake dish thing. I lightly dust it, and then I get it to spread all over the pan. And then I'm just gonna pour it in and kind of evenly distribute it. Now, the thing about this recipe is that when it bakes, when this stuff bakes, it kind of, the center of it kind of rises up. So it forms like this mound in the center. I'm just gonna like try and distribute more on the sides, and then leave the middle part just a little bit hollowed out, so that when it does rise in the middle like that, it'll be just a little bit more even. Now I'm gonna pop this in the oven. Oven is set to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Last thing we have to do is toss this guy in the oven. So bake time for a 9x9 pan is 30 minutes, and it is ready to pull out right now. Okay, so as you can see, it did kind of rise in the middle. It got kind of puffy in the middle, but that's okay. It's still delicious, and it's done. Check out our other high protein desserts made with Metabolic Drive at tnation.com. If you enjoyed this information, hit that like button to let us know. Plus, if you never want to miss another T Nation video again, hit subscribe and that little notification bell right next to it.